Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is Monday, the 18th of August, 2025, and here we go again. Welcome to another clown show of media manipulation. You won't be trusted anymore. All right, welcome to the Monday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and yes, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation, glad to have you aboard. And I'm feeling a little discombobulated today. There's so many different directions to go. I mean, I see this issue and that issue and this issue and news over here, news over there, and I'm going, squirrel, squirrel, oh, squirrel. I mean, I don't know what to focus on. It's just, as they say, the hints just keep on coming. Things are crazy. They're just getting crazier by the day. And I got to tell you, I had a good laugh this weekend. I had a jovial, I couldn't believe this. I just couldn't believe this. I'm going to start off today's show with a great big WTF. Wait till you hear this. This is crazy. We have reached, this has got to be the end. Listen to this.
Are you ready? We finally have the new Illuminate implant at Gabai Plastic Surgery. It's amazing because you can use the app on your phone to change the color. You can use it to change the intensity.
Okay, wait, I'm going to back this up, start it over again. Okay, we're talking about a breast implant. Yeah, a breast implant. Now, this thing is set up with LEDs, so all you got to do is tap, and the light comes on.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We finally have the new Illuminate implant at Gabai Plastic Surgery. It's amazing because you can use the app on your phone to change the color. You can use it to change the intensity. And I am the first in the United States to offer the Illuminate Plus, which has a massage feature in it as well.
No.
So that when you've had a hard day, you're tired, you're laying down, you need a little extra massage, Gabai Plastic Surgery, we have you covered.
Gabai Plastic Surgery's got you covered. And as he's talking, you can see this woman in the background, and she's got a big smile. She's got her hands on her breasts, and she's tapping her breasts, and the light's going on and off. Oh, my God. Oh my gosh. I had to start off with that. When I saw that this weekend, I said, no way. No way. Unbelievable. I mean, what is this world going to? It's just nuts. All right, before I get into any of this serious stuff, I just need to remind you, okay, this is common sense. I don't think there's any disputing this. I don't know if there's any debate on this issue. If you base your opinions on misinformation, disinformation, and lies, that means your opinion is an extension of those lies. This is common sense. Now keep in mind that the mainstream networks have been lying to you for your entire lives. I mean, this is not even, like I said, this shouldn't even be up for debate. And I've been screaming about this for 30 flaming years. When I started my talk show career back in 95, the issue was the Oklahoma City bombing. And of course, we were told it was Terry Nichols and Timothy McVeigh, blah, blah, blah. I've been through this before. I even wrote a song about it. Go to YouTube and type in my name and look for the song, Okay, Can You See? And you'll hear all the original newscasts that are talking about a second bomb and a third bomb, and the bomb truck is on the scene. And no mention about a truck bomb. No. We know that we're lying to us. And they lied to us about the 9/11 attacks, and they lied about the 7/7 attacks, and they've just lied and lied and lied and lied. And that's why I have no love for the mainstream networks. But I got to tell you, folks, it's really, really out of control. I'm going to change. Let's start off with what's going on as far as the takeover in D.C. Okay, we've got some problems with crime, obviously, But you see, the thing is that we have to look at how they got to this point. All right. Let me see if I can pull this up. Where is this? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Oh gosh. Here it is. Scott Jennings. Okay. Scott Jennings has a podcast. And he was pointing out what we all now know. They've been cooking the books as far as crime is concerned, not just in D.C., but this is going on in all of the major cities, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. This has become standard operating procedure because they don't want to look bad. Okay, so what are they doing here? Give a listen to Scott Jennings. Here it is.
And well, if you watched any cable news over the last several days, you no doubt heard an anchor or another anchor or another anchor or another pundit or another commentator, one after the other, claiming that Washington, D.C.'s crime stats are at a 30-year low, all in their quest to discredit President Trump's move to bolster the police in our nation's capital.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. They've been saying on the news that crime last year in Washington, D.C. was actually down 30%, which is huge. But they lied.
Well, it turns out, and most thinking people knew this already, the stats were fake. Now we have the receipts. The news site Washington Free Beacon, which I cannot recommend highly enough, dropped a blockbuster story this morning proving that the Washington Police Department intentionally falsified the crime statistics. According to internal records and communications reviewed by reporter Elena Goodman, police leaders repeatedly told officers to downgrade theft cases, knife attacks, and violent assaults to lesser offenses. See how that works? A whistleblower in the department filed a lawsuit and described the scheme this way. She was instructed to downgrade a number of felonies to misdemeanors so that there would be fewer felonies in the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
She also provided records showing that police leaders explicitly instructed their subordinates to underclassify certain instances of theft to keep them out of the crime stats the city reports to the public. Folks, we have entered an era of unrepentant propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Brought to you by the people who are supposed to give you the real stats, the real news, tell you the real truth. No wonder trust in media has cratered.
No wonder, yeah. Remember NBC News? News you can trust. Not!
To all-time lows. Washington, D.C. is not a safe place. Anyone who lives there or visits often knows it. But because Donald Trump decided to do something about it, the propaganda machine whirred to life to discredit his decision. And Democrats and his opponents in the media have chosen again to die on the wrong side of another 80-20 hill, although 20 may be generous.
You're right.
Now let's listen to CNN's data guru, Harry Enton, this morning, going over the latest crime polling.
I think this sort of gives the game away here because Donald Trump is like Air Jordan towering over Joe Biden when it comes to their handling of crime. Look, in 2024, look at where Biden's net approval was on crime. Way underwater there at minus 26 points. It was one of Biden's worst issues. Granted, pretty much every issue was one of Biden's worst issues. And again, look at where Donald Trump is. Way, way, way above Joe Biden. What is that? That's 27 points. So Americans vastly prefer Donald Trump's approach to crime than they did to Joe Biden's. And again, I think it gets back to the point that Americans are far more hawkish on crime than a lot of Democrats want to admit.
Well. Would you look at that? Let's see who on your television today has the guts to admit their mistakes. I wouldn't hold my breath if I were you.
No, I wouldn't hold my breath either. A lot of media folks are having to eat crow, and they don't want to do that. Remember, it's always easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. Ego and pride play very heavily into this particular equation. And, of course, none of the networks want to admit that they were wrong, let alone that they lied. And they did lie. As a matter of fact, now let's couple that, what you just heard from Scott Jennings, okay? You couple that with what was her name? Karine Jean-Pierre. Now, when she was press secretary last year, listen to what she said. I mean, you want to talk about cooking the books? So this is the other half of the equation. You just heard how they've been cooking the books as far as counting the crimes. But what if you downgrade the crimes to begin with, and then you downgrade them? Listen to Karine Jean-Pierre. Here she is.
I did talk to the team, and we have a couple of things that I just want to lay out for all of you and on what the DC bill does. It reduces maximum penalties for offenses like murders and other homicides, armed home invasion burglaries, armed carjackings, as I mentioned, armed robberies, unlawful gun possession, and some sexual assault offenses.
Okay, now we should listen to that again. Downgrading what kind of crimes? We're talking about the most heinous and violent crimes there are.
I did talk to the team, and we have a couple of things that I just want to lay out for all of you and on what the DC bill does. It reduces maximum penalties for offenses like murders and other homicides, armed home invasion burglaries, armed carjackings, as I mentioned, armed robberies, unlawful gun possession, and some sexual assault offenses.
Okay, so they downgraded all of those different crimes, and then when the crimes are committed, they're also told to cook the books and make them for even lesser crimes. No wonder crime is completely out of control. Now, I don't know where it went, but I had a clip pulled up over the weekend of Joe Biden back in the 90s on the congressional floor talking about how he did not feel safe going out to his car for fear he would be carjacked. Now, that was 30 years ago. So where are we now? They just don't want to admit it. So I wanted to throw that out there. This whole thing, I mean, nobody wants to see a police state. Nobody. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, liberal, conservative. Nobody wants to see martial law and a police state. However, the conditions have been created by these madmen in the major cities, sanctuary cities, all blue states, Democrat states. The Democratic Party has gone absolutely bat crap crazy, and most of the Republicans have as well. But the bottom line here is that the crime rates in these cities are way, they're pinning the needle. I saw some city hall or town hall meetings that were going on in Chicago against the mayor in Chicago, and the people were irate. They were furious. They were absolutely on fire, holding his feet to the fire because crime has gone completely out of control in Chicago. And we can see what's going on in L.A. And I got to tell you, this whole thing has been brought about, or shall I say exasperated, by the last 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration when they opened up the borders deliberately and they funded all of these immigrants deliberately. And they sent them all over the big cities in this country deliberately. And they brought them in on planes deliberately. And they gave them money. And they gave them cards and phones and places to stay. And this is insane. Just insanity. And of course they stand by, if you don't go along with this, then you're some sort of a racist or a Islamophobe or a phobophobe or a whatever phobe. And they have used the, what do you call it? The Cloward-Piven Directive. If you don't know what it is, look it up. The Cloward-Piven Directive. That's exactly what they did. And now we've got, upwards of 30 million illegals all hiding. They're not going to stand up there and raise their hand and say, here we are, deport us, here we are. No, they're hiding. They're going to do everything that they can to avoid apprehension. And of course, all of the Democrats are screaming, is this what you voted for? Look at it's terrible, it's brutal, they're taking people. Yeah, this is what you supported. This is what you voted for. What's it, FAFO? Fiddle around and find out? That's what's happening. I'm telling you, there's so many things to take a look at with this. And in the meantime, of course, everybody is now looking at what's going on today. With Trump is going to meet with Zelensky. Of course, over the weekend, he met with Putin. But now, as far as Ukraine is concerned, Zelensky's got his heels dug in. He does not want to end this war because if it ends, he is screwed. He knows it. He has to do this. Most of the Ukrainian people have had enough of this. And the whole thing is based upon what happened in 2014 when the United States got their fingers involved and, turned over a legitimately, democratically elected president and inserted Zelensky. And in doing so, and by the way, a lot of this is on Hunter Biden's laptop. By the way, he was instrumental in working with the Department of Defense in setting up all those biological laboratories on the northern crane of Ukraine right across the border from Russia. Now, I've said this before. I mean, how would we feel if, China or some hostile country set up like 30, 35, I think it's 39 biological laboratories all across the Canadian border? How would the U.S. feel about it? How would the people in the states that border Canada feel about it? Yeah, I wouldn't feel too good about it. Well, why should Russia accept that? Not to mention the fact that there is so much corruption. General Flynn had something to say about that. Here's General Flynn on Ukraine.
Why is Ukraine so important? Well, it's a hub for human trafficking. It's a hub specifically for child trafficking. It's a hub for narcotics trafficking. It's a hub for weapons trafficking. We know about our biolabs because Victoria Nuland said we had them there. I mean, we've always known that, but that's stated now publicly. And there's a lot of money just flowing into this country. And you say to yourself, where is this money going? And
is it money laundering? Is it money laundering?
I mean, money laundering, you name it. Just this week, and it may not have come up on your screen, but I know you pay attention a lot. I mean, there's a couple of people, I think one of them is like somebody in the Ministry of Defense there, and it might be the Minister of Defense or maybe somebody in his orbit. They're buying these gigantic homes for, millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. That money is just flowing all over the place. And he mentioned Victoria Nuland. Now, early on, she denied that there were biological laboratories on the northern border of Ukraine and Russia. She said, no, that's not true. Then she had to admit that they were there. Okay, another liar. Here's Victoria Nuland.
Ukraine has biological research facilities.
Okay, she's now admitting that there are biological research facilities, not laboratories or weapons labs. No, they're research.
Which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So,
how about neutralize or destroy them? Oh, that makes Russia the bad guys? Because you set up the biological laboratories, possibly creating biological weapons, and you're making Russia the bad guy?
We are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces.
Okay, research materials. Again, they're research materials. Well, I got to tell you, there are, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up here. There was a video. Let me see if this is it. Let me see the blood. Where is it? I had it up here. Oh gosh, where did it go? All right, well, never mind. It was. I would have had to read the subtitles because it is in Russian. And let's see here. This is it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay, let me cue this up. These are interviews with Russian soldiers who have gone in to the tunnels and in some of the areas in Ukraine, and what they found is horrific. Now I'm gonna play this in the background because they're speaking Russian, but I have to read the subtitles. Listen to this. Their group, as it turns out, was gathering kids around Izium. Little ones from 2 to 6 or 7 years old, and was bringing them to that particular place There they got undressed on the first floor, and on the second floor, they got carved up. Like discarded waste. They were either just kept in pits or taken out somewhere. And those guys, they were talking about them, the kids, as if they were slaughtering some livestock, like a piglet or a rabbit. They were like, yeah, we brought them as if they were in some farm. You understand? These implementations took organs. I'd heard about it, but I didn't believe it. Until seeing all this with my own eyes, one cannot comprehend it, but when you see it, you won't forgive. There existed labs belonging to the defenders of Ukraine. Let me see, I got to pause it. It went a little too fast. Let me back it up. Okay, this is a woman here that she's basically telling what she saw. And she said, there existed labs belonging to the defenders of Ukraine. These were nationalist battalions. They received commission from their deals, and what they did was murdering children, placing organs into containers and passing those containers on. And the containers were taken out of the country under a grain export service. We liquidated 8 such labs. They look like something that we would call basements. For the most part, we'd get there after they were cleared. In other words, the lab would be discovered after an explosion. We'd walk onto the ashes of the subsequent fire. There were corpses. They were children. Dissected children. I mean, the kids were cut up. All right, that's testimony from some of the Russians who went into these labs. This is just crazy. I mean, this makes me sick to my stomach. But this is what we're dealing with, folks. This is what we're dealing with. No wonder you don't get the straight answers when it comes to the Ukraine issue. Money laundering, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, organ trafficking. I mean, you name it. That's what's going on in Ukraine. And all the idiots out there and that have been consuming the blue Kool-Aid being pumped down their throat 24/7, 365 by the mainstream networks are waving their Ukrainian, I stand with Ukraine. I stand with Ukraine. It's like, I stand for Israel. It's crazy. Now, I don't hate anybody. I mean, some of the things that are going on, yes, are well-deserved to get hated on. But, I mean, this is what we're dealing with, folks. Anyway, a quick pause for the cause.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big money. Made in America, the Get More Tank is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now, the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
All right, let's go to Chicago. Say hi to Jerry. Jerry, thank you for holding. You're on the air. What do you got?
Hey, this is what I got for you. I started using that GetMoreTank.com back around May in 2 different vehicles. And I'll tell you what, my fuel economy went up in one of them, Toyota RAV4 2019, and went up about 4.6 miles per gallon. I keep track of it.
Wow, good for you.
And 2019 Ford Transit with a 5-cylinder inline diesel engine, I went from 15.8 average to 17.2. And I'm also putting it in my chainsaw. I haven't noticed the difference with the chainsaw. I can't figure fuel economy on that. But, hey, that's all I wanted to say to you. Have a good show.
Hey, Jerry, thank you so much for the endorsement. It's a good product. It really is. And not only that, I'm sure that everything's running better as well. I noticed that in my my Toyota Highlander. When I hit the gas, I almost feel G-forces, So, hey, thank you much for that endorsement, Jerry. I appreciate that. Okay, and people are seeing that type of result when they use Get More Tank. You can, too. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors button. It'll take you down to a window where you can click on the Get More Tank and get all the information, all the stats and all the information about how and why it works is there. And you, too, if you start using it, you'll see better engine performance. Your car runs cleaner. When you hit that gas pedal, it actually goes. And over a couple of tanks, you will start to see massive improvement in your mileage, anywhere between 15 and 20%, depending upon your make, model, and year of vehicle and how you drive. So this is, again, a no-brainer, folks. I wouldn't be hawking this stuff or using them as an advertiser if it didn't work. I'm not in it, just to sell stuff. Okay? Yeah, if it's a good product, I'll promote it. And that's why I'm using Get More Tank. You can too. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page. Click on the Get More Tank. And when you use the promo code REDPILL101, you'll save 10% on your purchase. So run screaming to the computer and order your Get More Tank. All right, that said, I want to move on to a different topic just briefly. We all know that the Department of Education has been failing our students and our kids for years, indeed decades. I mean, look at the level of education of the generation that's out there right now. I mean, it's sad. They're graduating kids with a 5th grade reading ability. And in the state of Connecticut, they graduated a girl who was functionally illiterate. She can't read and she can't write, but they graduated her anyway. And now she's going to the University of Connecticut. I mean, this is what we're doing to our youth. But there's something else that they're doing to your kids too, okay? They're spying on them. Listen to this.
You have no idea what's happening in schools. I don't think most parents or even teachers realize how deep this goes. Since 2019, kids have been tracked the moment they log into their school devices. Their emotions, behavior, diagnosis, their race and gender, every click, every search is recorded and handed over to tech companies without your consent. I was a teacher for over 5 years. I resigned mid-year because I could not in good conscience remain in this system any longer. I have a master's in education and I'm currently earning my PhD right now, and I'm telling you, this goes deep. Programs like HMH, Amplify, Dreambox, Panorama, Class Dojo, Success Ed, all of this, Khan Academy, they're backed by billionaires like Gates, Bezos, Zuckerberg. You can literally Google this info. These are so much more than just educational tools. They are surveillance systems, collecting data on your children. Schools sign contracts as your child's parent under a loophole, a legal loophole, and tech companies are legally considered school officials. That means they can track and collect everything. This is not education anymore. It is data mining. It is manipulation and exploitation, and I refuse to stay silent. Protect your kids. Ask hard questions. The system is not broken. It was built this way. That's why it's still operating from the same factory model it was originally designed in during the Industrial Revolution. The system is not meant to nurture your children. It is meant to box them in, label them, silence them, and pump out obedient workers.
Obedient workers, where have we heard that before? George Carlin, maybe? So I just wanted to throw that out there, folks. If you have any kids or if you've got family that have kids in the public school system, get them out. Get them out. There are homeschool groups that are forming all over the country. As a matter of fact, it's been suggested that a lot of these teachers that are throwing in the towel because they don't want to be involved in the propaganda machine, they're setting up homeschooling systems where parents can send their kids for something, I don't know, like $10 a class or something like that. And these teachers will give private lessons to the kids. So if you got, let's say you got 10 kids, 10 parents that want to be homeschooled, and the 10 parents all kick in $10, that's $100. So for $100, the teacher can teach the 10 kids. Take them out of the system. This is a growing movement that's going on all over the country, and well, it should. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there because, as Hillary said, it's about our children are our most precious resource. Maybe that she meant adrenochrome. I don't know. But I happen to agree with that statement, but not in the same way that Hillary did. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I want to get back now to what's going on with Israel. The whole country now is starting to feel Israel fatigue. A lot of folks are looking at this again, and yes, it's hard to undo that programming. It's hard to get over the constant battering that we all have. Israel's our greatest ally. Hamas is the Holocaust. 6 million Jews. Hamas. Oh, Holocaust. Greatest ally. Holocaust. 6 million. I mean, we've been battered and beaten into thinking about those things for our entire lives. And you know what? The whole thing is crumbling. Because now people are starting to understand that we are talking about betrayal on a level that most people cannot comprehend. I played this clip last week, and it's worthy of hearing again, because now House Bill, 8445 is now going to give benefits to the Israeli Defense Force. Yes, including retirement. Listen to this.
Our government has officially passed a bill that will see that we pay for the health care and retirement pensions for all IDF soldiers currently in and also already retired. This is going to be better and higher quality than that of our own soldiers. You cannot make this stuff up, and it will be funded by you. And on top of that, because they're going to be taking care of all the money that was previously being spent on them by the Israeli government, now gets to go to the citizens of Israel, which means they get free healthcare. You can't make this up. This is ridiculous. And we have this all the while people in our own country don't have healthcare, aren't being taken care of, and we have homeless veterans. And we are actively paying for all of another country's. Can't make this stuff up. There's only one, when it's all about solutions, there's only one solution that I can think of at this current moment. I'm going to put up on the screen because I can definitely not say this on TikTok.
Yeah, and that's the truth, folks. And people are starting to understand how this is just insanity that our government is doing what they're doing. But then again, when you take into consideration those three magic words: bribery, coercion, blackmail. That is what's driving our elected officials. Not their concern for their constituency, not their love of their country, not, to better their community. They don't give a rat's patoot about that. They have their own motivations. And it's one of those three words. Either bribery, which is also known as lobbying. Coercion. In other words, well, if you don't do this, it'd be a shame if something happened to your family. And the last one, of course, is blackmail. And we all know what's going on with the Epstein files. What leverage that is. But I got to tell you, this past weekend, I saw a video that was heartbreaking. Now, we've seen a lot of videos of the atrocities, and we've talked about it on this program. What they're doing here is they're starving all these people in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip, and then they bring in aid trucks, and thousands of starving people descend upon this area where the food is going to be distributed, and there's only enough food for maybe 10% of the thousands that show up. And, of course, chaos ensues, and then the IDF opens fire on them. There are videos of this. This is not conspiracy theory. This is the reality of what's going on. But over the weekend, I saw a heartbreaking video. There was a little girl about 6 or 7 years old carrying a water tank. Obviously, she was struggling to carry it, and she got droned. Listen to this.
There's a video circulating online of this little girl. She couldn't have been no more than 7 or 8 years old. She's carrying a jug of water. And this is in Gaza. And she was taken out by an Israeli drone. 7 or 8-year-old little girl carrying water. Not a militant, not a combatant, just a little girl carrying water. Her family, from what I read and what I understand, they've all been martyred. And the Israeli military drone struck this little girl.
I saw the video. I mean, direct hit. They just blew her to bits. Of course, Israel's just defending itself.
For everyone to see, an unarmed little girl. I don't think that Israel has a future, to be honest with you. I mean, they can create their Greater Israel project. They can murder their way through the region, but they'll never have peace. I think it's too late for them. And as far as America goes, if they don't change course immediately, it might be too late for us too. Because a majority of Americans don't want war. America used to stand for peace. They used to stand up for the little guy. And, ever since our politicians have sold out, our values are gone and our morals are gone, and the country isn't the same because Israel controls the majority of our policies. So, go watch this video. I know it's going to make a lot of you feel uncomfortable, but get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable, because discomfort is what the Palestinians are feeling. And the more uncomfortable we are, the more we can put pressure in ways, whether it's just going on TikTok and posting a video like this, your Instagram, or just informing. So there's still some people out there who are misinformed and don't know much about what's happening in Gaza, and let them know. And pray. Yes. Pray. Every day, pray. Just pray that the world sees peace, Gaza sees peace, the children see peace. The children don't deserve this. Just pray.
You've got to get mad.
We're mad now, and we're not going to take this anymore.
Absolutely. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is putting forth a bill to cut funding to Israel. God bless you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here she is.
Israel bombed a Catholic church in Gaza, and the entire population is being wiped out as they continue their aggressive war in Gaza. My amendment would strike $500 million in funding for nuclear-armed Israel's missile defense system. The U.S. already provides Israel with $3.8 billion annually in foreign aid. $3.8 billion, that's a lot of money. Additionally, the April 2024 security supplemental included $8.7 billion for Israel. Even though Israel, nuclear-armed Israel, has universal health care for their citizens and subsidized college for their citizens. They're able to provide that. However, here in America, we're $37 trillion in debt. My amendment will ensure an America First Department of Defense, and that is exactly what we need, and we haven't had for a very long time.
Yeah, the money just keeps on flowing over there. And why? Because most of Americans are sitting on their hands and they're not saying anything. And we all know that our elected officials, again, use Track AIPAC, and you'll see exactly how much money is being sent over to your politician, your congressman, your senator. And it goes on and on and on. And as a matter of fact, let me see if I could pull this up. There are more and more people that are standing up. I'm going to pause this because there are so many influencers, broadcasters. They're now starting to get it. They're starting to understand. Here's Joe Rogan.
How much influence does Israel have on our country?
Israel's control.
And now Candace Owens.
Controlling our government.
Israel controls us.
Philip Turney.
Israel is in control of our
Kim
government.
Iverson.
The government of Israel controls the United States.
Anna Kasparian.
Israel has run American foreign policy for 30 years.
Jeffrey Sachs.
It feels like we're just owned by Israel. And we Just never knew it.
Is the United
Theo Vaughn.
States government now just taking edicts and orders from Israel?
Tim Dillon.
Israel first.
Israel first.
Jennifer Welch. Steve Bannon.
Israel first.
Glenn
This really
Greenwald.
is an Israel first administration.
Israel.
AIPAC, I'm coming to tear your kingdom down.
Good for you, Cori Bush.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City.
America first means we don't go to war on behalf of other countries.
Cut off aid to Israel.
I wouldn't send him a dime. This is my country.
Who do you have allegiance to?
Do you believe America's your country or do you believe Israel's your country?
Act like an American, not an Israeli. What are you, a foreign agent?
I don't think we should be fighting wars on behalf of Israel.
Israel's wars are not America's wars.
Bingo. So we have a flood of broadcasters, politicians, and influencers that are finally starting to get it. And the crack, the crack has become a gush. I mean, if the dam is cracking, now the water's coming through. And I got to tell you, folks, I couldn't be happier. Not that I hate Jews. It's not about that. It's about understanding how we've all been manipulated. And Israel's done. Let me see if this is the same clip. Here is it.
There's a video circulating online.
Okay, yeah, I just played that one. Okay. But, let me see, where is this one here? Let me see what this clip is. I forgot what this one is.
I think I'm uniquely qualified to speak on what's been going on for the last years. I actually have degrees in applied mathematics, immunology, computational biology, biochemistry, and molecular biology. These things need to stop being pushed and given today.
Oh, okay, that's about the vaccine. It was a different topic. I got so many clips I prepare, and I forget which ones, who was saying what. Let me see here. Nick Fulcher. Oh, yes, another one on the biological attack. Well, the point is like I was saying, everybody is starting to wake up. And we're sick to death of hearing about all of these, crimes being committed and charges being brought up against, this person, that person, and treason over here, treason over there, and no arrests. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. When is that floodgate going to open?
Are you sick and tired of the theatrics, the cinema, enjoying the show, listening to the talk, having this career corrupt politician over here call the other one out, and vice versa? Oh, we have enough evidence. Yeah? Follow the bouncing ball. If you have enough evidence to prosecute these career corrupt politicians for crimes against the citizens of this great country, this great constitutional republic, do it. Quit talking about it.
Do it.
Sincerely, America.
Yes, absolutely. Is it coming? Is it really coming? I can feel it in the air tonight. Is it really coming? I can only pray that it does. But we are under attack in this country. Absolutely. And before I get into that other clip I was going to play having to do with the hokey pokey thingy dingy, I got to let you know that a lot of folks out there that have been supporting Israel, two things are happening. Either they're backing out and they're realizing that they've been supporting a really evil regime, and you just heard a whole bunch of clips from a whole bunch of broadcasters and media influencers and podcasters. They're getting it. The noticing it's like a tidal wave of reality that's starting to sweep across this country and the world. And I couldn't be happier about it. Because the programming, the manipulation, the propaganda, October 7th, Israel's our greatest ally. Holocaust, 6 million Jews. I mean, over and over and over again, the cracks are multiplying. The horse hockey and the propaganda is being exposed. And I hate to say it, but there are folks that are going to dig in, and they have to. They're all in. I mean, people like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, they're shaking in their boots. I mean, there's a big thing going on right now. Ben Shapiro is going after Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her a traitor and this and that. Listen to this madman. Here he is.
We have a president who's leading on the fight against anti-Semitism. He's got the whole federal government focused on it.
Yeah,
we have federal judges.
Yeah, I'm going to pause that. He's right, because they've got Trump between a rock and a hard place. And so they're pushing this whole thing, anti-Semitism, which is horse hockey. The Palestinians are the Semites. It's the Israelis who are the imposters. And that's, I mean, all you got to do is do a little research and then check your Bible. Jesus tried to tell you about it. It was in Revelation. It was in John 8:44. They are imposters. They are Khazarians. They're Ashkenazis. They came in and hijacked Judaism. And instead of having a menorah on the flag, which was supposed to be, they put the star of Remphan. Oh, it's the Star of David. David didn't have a star. It's in the book of Amos. It is the book of Remphan, also known as Moloch, also known as Baal, also known as Lucifer. We have been hoodwinked. And that means you too, Mark Levin. And they can't admit it. They're all in.
Are undermining us. We have local and state politicians who are undermining us. We have a media that's undermining us.
And you guys, because you deserve to be undermined.
No, never again. We are going to be heard, and we are going to fight this.
Yeah, that's because it's not win or lose, it's win or die. And by the way, I got to tell you that this is, he was speaking at the Christians United for Israel meeting. Think about that. Christians United for Israel. That's an oxymoron. Doesn't make any sense. Christians got to wake up. You know, the Zionist Christians, you've been batting for the wrong side.
You do not have the due process that chased Jewish kids back into their dorm rooms. Period. You do not have free speech to try and incite Kristallnachts all over this country.
If you folks hadn't been involved in genocide, then you wouldn't see the hatred towards Jews. And I have to tell you, most of that hatred is misdirected because most of those people had nothing to do with it.
Period. That Constitution, those Bill of Rights. I know who those framers were and those founders were, and they wouldn't put up with this for a damn second.
And meanwhile, let me see if I can find this here. There's, have you heard about Greater Israel, the plan for Greater Israel? Yeah, Bibi Netanyahu stood in front of the UN and held up a map of what they want to do. And they're not being shy about it. They want to take over all of Syria, all of Lebanon, a good piece of Saudi Arabia, a good piece of Egypt. He held up the map, and nobody's saying anything. Listen to this.
If you put up a map of the Greater Israel now, that's Syria, that's the entirety of Lebanon, it's the entirety of Jordan, it's any Palestinian land, it's a nice chunk of Saudi Arabia, it's a nice chunk of Iraq, and it's a nice chunk of Egypt, from the Nile to the Euphrates. Israel's got to be the only country, right, on the planet where the Prime Minister, who is actively carrying out a genocide on live TV, can come out and say that he's very much connected to, spiritually, to a mission and a vision of a project that will steal the land of 7 other nations, and no one says anything.
Yeah, no one says anything. Just do some research. Just type in Greater Israel and then look at images. They're not hiding it. That's their plan, is to take over all that area, and nobody's saying anything. What kind of power are they holding over the entire world? What is it that they have on not just U.S. government, but other governments around the world? This is madness, folks. But you know what? There are folks out there that are starting to understand that they're done. As a matter of fact, let me see. Matt Brooks, he was speaking before the Republican Jewish Coalition in Aspen, Colorado, and they're starting to see They're starting to see if they don't get a grip on this, they are going to lose it all. Listen to this one here.
Let me be honest about a point. Anti-Semitism exists on the right as well. Voices like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Stu Peters are unacceptable and dangerous. And we at the Republican Jewish Coalition take this threat very seriously.
And well, you should. The truth hurts.
We work independently and in partnership with allies like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro to call it out and root it out. We must be vigilant.
Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro is about all you got left, because everybody else is realizing what's going on and taking several steps back.
Always. We do not ignore it. We confront it loudly and consistently. And one of the reasons that we are so fixated on combating the rise of the woke right in our party is a couple of reasons. Number one, first and foremost, we saw what was happening in the Democratic Party early on, and we sounded the alarms when the rise of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, and they started getting elected. And all of our friends on the left and in the Democratic Party would say, "Oh, you're just being, you're just trying to scare everybody. It's the fringe. They're not, they're irrelevant. They're not in power. They're whatever." Meanwhile, as they turned a blind eye to that, that quote-unquote fringe has now become the mainstream and taken over the Democratic Party to the point where the Democratic Party is no longer recognizable as the Democratic Party of my parents and my grandparents.
Yeah, that's true.
But the bigger issue, and this is something that I've spent a lot of time thinking about, and I've been talking to Prime Minister Netanyahu and others about, is the threat from the woke right is existential.
Yep.
And by that I mean, if we don't combat the woke right now, and if it follows the trajectory of what happened in the Democratic Party and gets a foothold and ultimately becomes the mainstream of the Republican Party, there is no party and nobody in politics to support Israel. Israel will be alone.
That's right.
Without a strong pro-Israel Republican Party, there is no support for Israel. If we lose the Republican Party, Israel has nobody.
That's right. And you know what? You are losing the Republican Party. Yeah, and it looks like you're already losing most of the Democratic Party as well, because they're out there protesting against Israel. And of course, the mainstream media that's been controlled by Israel all labels all these protesters as pro-Hamas. They're for the terrorists. They want to kill all the Jews. No, that's the way you're framing it. And for all the Jewish folks out there, I hope and pray that you can get in touch with your your elected officials, and tell them to get off of the Israeli train. Israel is a rogue state, and they do not represent Judaism. In fact, they're doing everything that they can to destroy credibility for the Jewish faith. Remember, Jews and Christians have the same 10 commandments. They really do. So you take a look at what's going on with Israel, and you tell me how many of those commandments are being broken. It's not hard. It's not difficult at all. Anyway, that said, I had a couple other things I was going to get to, but I'm flat out of time here. I've only got about 20, 30 seconds left here before the music starts playing. And if you're enjoying this broadcast, I would ask respectfully and humbly that you do business with our advertisers. Check out the Wave Watch. If you haven't done so, yeah, that's a really good thing to take a look at. A lot of people are benefiting from the use of frequencies that Tesla told us about, and that Royal Raymond Rife was able to, put into use, and Linda Banber was able to take Rife technology and put it into a wristwatch. You got to check this thing out, folks. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and check out the Wave Watch. You'll be glad that you did. All right, that said, we're flat out of time. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast. If so, click like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends and co-workers that there is some real information here. And it's not just my opinion. I'm here with the facts, WTF, the audio receipts, so you can hear it for yourself. Not making this stuff up. All right, that said, we're done for the Monday edition. I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. So until then, God bless you all. Stay safe and stay free, and I'll see you tomorrow.